don't cry. Just because you don't have work, it means you have the time to learn. You have to enjoy life at the end of the day.
True.
Suck the best out of it. I do enjoy a good meal. I do enjoy traveling luxury. Yeah, but if it's not around, it's okay. A good screenplay will always give you a good film with an average director also. A bad screenplay with the best of directors will never work into a good film. Ever. You can do what you want. I always wanted to be a photographer. Like I always wanted to be on stage. I always wanted to be on screen. I always wanted to direct a movie, always wanted to write a movie. I had too many alwayses in my mind.
Hey everyone, welcome to Midday.com. And we have a very special guest joining us today. He started at the cash counter of the family store to becoming a leading photographer and one of India's best loved stars. So welcome, sir.
Thank you so much, Natasha. So sweet of you.
No, sir, your journey has been an inspiration to a lot of people, and they don't really know that you started out at the family store and humble beginnings, but you have had a great journey. Please take us to that journey.
Humble beginnings and humble continuance. Everything is the same. Nothing changes simply because you. So humble in the sense, we had a dukan. It was with tiled roof, Mangalore tiles.
Yeah.
There was a bhatti, and we used to fry garma garam wafers. Or garma garam wafers, we used to weigh them on a weighing scale. वो vegetable vendor का weighing scale ऐसे लटका हुआ था ऊपर से, और we used to sell it. और मैं fry भी करता था, कभी-कभी काटता था भी. Be on the dispensing side, on the sales side, and then sit on the cash counter, on the galla as it's known as. I don't know if people are familiar with the term galla.
Mumbai people are for sure.
तो गल्ले में बैठता था. And I sat there from my teens, actually. Even from school, I used to go and sit there with my mom till I was 35.
Wow, yeah.
You may call it humble, but we were happy. It gave us everything we needed. It gave us a couple of new pairs of clothes on festival days. Education, a good education. My mother insisted that we went to the best schools in Mumbai. And we were happy. We didn't have lots of money. But yeah, Friday, the dukan was shut, so we could all go to watch a movie. That was all that we looked forward to. Nothing else, nothing fancy, no fancy clothes, no fancy shoes. The fanciest sneakers were Bata and Corona Khao. Apart from that, when I was in school, of course, I used to go to the Alexander Cinema opposite my house every day and watch a movie. Whatever it is, even if it was a repeat. That was my life. Everything I learned, I saw the world. I traveled the world through the movies.
Yeah.
I never had a passport till I was 35. Yeah, why does a shopkeeper need a passport? Where is he going? He has just one day off.
Yeah.
That's a Friday. But I needed money maybe to buy a camera because I wanted to pursue photography. That's about it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, nobody needed big money then. No, there was no great aspiration. I mean, who had an AC? Who had cars? Only the rich had cars. Otherwise, our transport was fantastic. BST bus mein ghumte the, train mein ghumte the, ya chal ke jate. If we had to save money, we'd walk home all the way from Kolaba. We just had simple wants. And kabhi ek bhelpuri kha liya, ice cream ke liye chale gaye kahin. That was about it, Natasha.
You also met your wife at the store. We can't forget that.
I met the wife at the store. And this went on for a long time. I just could not, disassociate the fact that she was a customer, and the customer would come and then stand over there and chat for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And then all the staff used to say, who is this standing every day and chatting with you? And that's how we met. Yeah, that's true.
And so we also know that you worked at the Taj and served the biggest stars. And today you are the biggest star. So how does that feel really?
I think it's a wonderful feeling. Because even then, I didn't feel that, what am I doing? Carrying trays around the place. अभी भी ताज में जाता हूँ तो मुझे अच्छा लगता है. I go to this room. This room so and so was staying when I had given them, breakfast in the morning. In this room so and so was staying. Oh, this suite, I remember. My God, we, very rarely would go into this suite. And then it's a wonderful circle. You go and maybe spend a day there when you have some work to stay at the Taj.
Yeah.
Life has its beautiful circuitous route that we have to acknowledge. I enjoyed my days there. Again, we used to have a break shift. Room service was a straight shift, but when I was in the restaurant, it would be called a break shift.
Okay.
You finished the lunch shift, and then you had a few hours for the dinner shift. I used to leave the Taj during the break and go and watch a movie. There was Regal Cinema right behind it. And then thoda chal ke jao to Eros mein jao. Is taraf jao to Metro. Is taraf jao to Liberty. Roz ek picture dikhta tha. And I used to get tips, right?
Yeah.
The popcorn picture. And there was great joy in that. इसमें ऐसा नहीं कि humble क्या है? आज भी तो humble ही है.
There was this beautiful incident with Sam Bhada, who had hired you, and then you met him years later.
Yeah, so I met Sam Bhada, gave me my first job at Taj when I was 18 years old. Which department do you want to work? I said food and beverage. Hotel is about food and beverage only. Come on. Which department? And I told him, I want to join the rooftop restaurant. He said, you want to start from the top? I said, yeah. He said, no, you start from the bottom, my friend. And he sent me off to the room service. And then many years ago, I met him in New York at the Lexington Hotel, which he was GM. Oh, welcome, Mr. Irani. He said, no, Mr. Irani, please. I said, Mr. Bhada. No, Mr. It's Boman. You gave me my first job. You gave me my first job. And you gave me a great lesson. Pay your dues. Start from the bottom, then you can go up. You start at the top, kahan jaoge uske baad? It's beautiful that these stories, as I said, have a circuitous relationship with your own life.
That's really great, actually. Because a lot of people do change, but that you are the same is like a big thing.
We may have changed, but I think the outlook in life should be, you have to enjoy life at the end of the day.
True.
Suck the best out of it. I do enjoy a good meal. I do enjoy travel.
Yeah.
I'll not lie to you. I do enjoy traveling luxury. Yeah, but if it's not around, it's okay.
But you never gave up your passion for photography and went on to become a leading photographer. Capturing the Miss Indias and everybody actually. So please tell us a little about that. How did you maintain that passion? I
had no idea what it took to do big time photography. I used to shoot street life, street life, somebody in a handcart, somebody sleeping in simple things, and so beautiful. And you see life and understand humanity and the human condition, if you know what I mean. But then I needed to make a livelihood out of it.
True.
Because it's an expensive hobby. Earlier, it was almost like, you had to get equipment from what? From a smuggler,
Yeah.
Yeah. But to procure a piece of equipment and another lens was a task. And we used to work towards that. Till I need one more lens. Ek lens mil jaye. So you understand that when that lens comes and you clip it on, you will value this little baby. Because it's your baby. It's not that, I need this, my requirement. These are my... And I learned photography for years and years and years. And finally, when I got a chance, I set up a small studio. I took a loan and no work. Basically, the long and the short of it is, Natasha, that you have to pay your dues.
Yeah.
You can't say, okay, I got the equipment and I can take pictures. That doesn't mean you're going to get work.
True.
You have to sit around and figure out how are you going to get work. And it comes by just being prepared for that opportunity. So if you're sitting in this all by yourself, close your eyes and say, I have the time. Don't cry. Just because you don't have work, it means you have the time to learn.
That's so beautiful.
So when I didn't have work, I used to sit around and say, am I going to cry or am I going to sharpen my skills? And I spend that time sharpening my skills because when the opportunity comes, you got to hit it hard. You got to meet the opportunity like a moment in history in your life. It's part of your history. And you got to meet that opportunity. And somebody said, okay, Sushmita Sen has won Miss India. I can't seem to find a photographer. Can you go to so-and-so place? Of course.
Yeah.
I went and shot Sushmita Sen and that was it. And then the next year around, I did the whole goddamn thing. Everybody gets an opportunity. It's only that people don't realize they have the opportunity because they are too busy brooding.
And so from there, we know you started your theatre career and there was no looking back, right from I'm Not Bajirao to all your iconic plays. So please tell us about it.
So So when I started photography, Shamak took me and said,
Yeah.
do a play. I said, Shamak, I'm not an actor. He's saying, no, you don't fool me. You're an actor. I said, how do you know? He's saying, I know. I'm from theater. I know who is and who is not an actor. And I got a small part in a play with Alec Padamsee. And, it was literally 3 minutes on stage,
Okay.
maybe less. And I said to myself, this is the opportunity again. Either I say it's a chota sa part hai, and then there were people who were saying, what am I doing in this play? No, you can give your best. And suddenly I'm reading the newspapers and saying they're talking about this guy who had a 3-minute part in the whole play.
Yeah.
Something's good. Something's happening. I wanted to be on stage. Here I am. You're learning acting every day with each passing performance.
Yeah.
And then finally, I think I got a wonderful break it started with Let's Talk, which was a little experimental film, which Vinod Chopra saw. And then he offered me Munna Bhai MBBS. There I was doing my best again.
No, like you said, sir, the small opportunities, people like maybe would just pass it and say that, no, I'm too big for this. But that's what really makes you what you are. Just grabbing those opportunities and recognizing.
I think you said it. You nailed it. You must never think that anything is too small. I spent a lot of time understanding, watching great performances. There was a film called Network, the 1970s, and the best supporting actress, her name was Beatrice Straight. She had one scene in the whole film. She stole the whole movie. I'm saying it's possible. Then people like scene stealers like Farida Jalal, they would come in a movie, do one scene. You don't need the whole film. Whatever opportunity you get, you can kill it. You can kill it. So don't wait for the big break. Build yourself up to the big break. What is a big break?
True.
That's your big break.
True. And so today you have your own production house and you're also helping aspiring writers, screenwriters with Spiral Bound. So please tell us about that as well.
About 7 odd years ago, I decided to write a film. I wrote it. It was good, but there was something missing. So once when I went to New York to meet some writers, I met this writer. He was a playwright. He'd written one film.
Yes.
And I told him my story. And he said, it's a beautiful story, but it has no science. I said, science? What do you mean? To write from the heart? I said, yeah, you've written from the heart, but after 15 minutes, I'll get tired of the story. He's saying, so what you need is a science to structure it together. You should understand basic structure. So I said, okay, teach me. So he says, okay, come tomorrow. We'll have a coffee and we'll chat about it for a bit. And then some students from NYU, Indian students, came and started taking pictures with me, selfies, saying, you're a writer or you're an actor? I said, I'm an actor. So he held his head and said, yaar, ye actor ke saath kaise karenge? And nevertheless, we became friends and I started sponging on him and made him my guru. He went on to win an Oscar for Birdman. We became stronger friends. When we inaugurated Irani Movie Tour in my production house, I said, along with it, we have to inaugurate something called Spiral Bound, which will help writers to understand the intricacies of screenplay. So he did the first workshop. I flew him down instead of having a grand party and all, because this was as bigger than a grand party.
Yeah.
And he did a 5 to 7 hour workshop. And that was how Spiral Bound was born. Then in the pandemic, when all those young writers would call me just for advice and used to talk to them over the phone.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm talking to 4 different young writer directors every day. Why can't all 4 of you all come together?
Yeah.
So will this Zoom work? He says, sure. So four writers came and I started, helping them with the problems they had in screenplay. Because I've been trained by Alex Dinelaris, this friend of mine I was mentioning. Saying, can we bring our friend tomorrow? I said, yeah, okay. How many friends you got? Well, 20 turned up then, And then slowly, and then the numbers kept growing. And every day we have people, newer and newer people coming in. It was because in the lockdown, people sometimes I feel joined Spiral Bound only to be occupied. And in the bargain, they learned something new.
True.
And some people came to learn writing. And it was a very trying time for a lot of people. People did not have a livelihood. Money had stopped. They're sitting in a house locked in like prisoners. Yeah. And their mind was was only imagining the worst in terms of health, in terms of their future. And what happened then was people got empowered by it. And that's why we are a very close-knit family. Now hundreds, we are talking about hundreds of students who are part of Spiral Bound today.
Yeah.
And we've completed, I would like to imagine 460 sessions. 460
Amazing.
sessions, which I'm very, very proud that people still come after all these years. Just come because it means something to them. So Spiral Bound is actually the cornerstone of what we would like to do at Irani Movie Tone, is have good stories being converted into good screenplays. Because you might have great stories, but they don't necessarily translate into good screenplays.
Yeah.
A good screenplay will always give you a good film with an average director also. A bad screenplay with the best of directors will never work into a good film, ever. You can do what you want. And that's my belief system, that if the screenplay is in place, if the script is in place, you've got an average to good movie.
No, actually, for a long time, that had been a topic of discussion, that writers don't really get the kind of credit that they deserve. And it's so great that you're doing, all this to help aspiring writers.
And I'll say this without sounding rough, but writers don't get the credit. They don't get the money, but they themselves first should be worthy of that credit and money.
True.
How do you become worthy of it? By having a certain amount of knowledge and saying, okay, I'm empowered with certain knowledge that I can now write. Otherwise, if you're going to give me a script that is not great, you don't deserve the credit and you don't deserve the money.
No, actually, I think it's your humility, that keeps you going and makes you so loved among the masses. Thank you. It was great.
Thank you, darling.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.